everyone. Welcome to Taxes Simplified, a podcast series brought to you by Aotax, one of America's top 100 e-filers and the go-to tax partners for Indians navigating cross-border taxes. I'm Duswini and I'll be your host as we break down US taxes into simpler topics and discussions so that each and every one of us can file with more accuracy, clarity, and overall confidence this tax season. If you're living in the US, I'm sure you already know how complex the tax landscape can feel at times. There are multiple sources of income, multiple forms to navigate, residency rules that don't match everyday situations, and notices from the IRS can be quite difficult to interpret at times, which is exactly why we wanted to create this podcast. Because you know what? There's a lot of information out there, but not coming from the right sources. Before we get into the full series, I think it's only right to begin with the person who's built Aotax's track record of over 2 decades, the founder and CEO of Aotax, Mr.Sumit Panjabi. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Sumit. It's really great to have you on the pod. And you're going to be the first person that our viewers are hearing from.
Thank you, Deshri. I'm glad we're doing this finally. And I'm really looking forward to see how this series of podcasts develop and grow over time.
So, Sumit, let's begin from the core of why Aotax exists, right? You've been working in the industry for over 2 decades now. I'm sure you've seen the system can confuse people at times, right? So, in your view, what are the biggest challenges that NRIs face while filing taxes?
Sure. So, generally the IRS tax code has over 10,000 pages. But what we've noticed, or what I've noticed over the last 20 years, is that as most people in the US move from state to state for job purposes and stuff, so there are complications in residency calculations. So that's one of the challenges. The second thing is a lot of these people have income or investment properties in India, right? So that you may have a rental income or interest or dividend. How do you report that in India or in the US? I think most importantly is the compliance, right? So if you're on H1 tomorrow, you'll be looking to file your green card or your citizenship. How do you make sure that you're in compliance with the IRS so that when the time comes to file your paperwork for green card or citizenship, that there are no loose ends? So those, I would say, in a summary, those are the 3 or 4 things that probably are the most important things.
Right. So, I think that's specifically the gap that NRIs today experience in the taxing landscape, right? And I think without the right guidance, people can end up feeling really lost.
In today's world, we all say, right, like you are a master's from WhatsApp University. So that's one of the challenges that we face. But yeah, I think there's 3 people in this world probably that you don't want to compromise with. One is a lawyer, doctor, and a tax preparer.
So, man, take us back to 2003. You were an NRI yourself. You came here firsthand. You're seeing these experiences, these struggles, right? What pushed you to start Aotax?
So I think, like you earlier said, right, that there's a lot of misinformation out there. And 2003 was kind of like right when internet was just starting out. So there was tons of misinformation out there. And so it was more from the standpoint that I wanted to offer a service that people could trust, people could engage with at a one-on-one level, and feel confident. So started with doing taxes by myself within friends and families, and then they referred other people, and everybody felt that they could trust. Again, this business or this service is actually built on trust, right? I think that's the key word in this thing. So that's how we started, based on trust. In fact, one of the things that I kept saying is that we don't build clients, we build relationships.
That's something.
So that's been the motive and the driving factor for Aotax.
Well, it's been a major driving factor and now has landed you in one of the top 100 e-filers of the nation. So what sort of was a trajectory from there to here now?
You asked me to summarize 20 years in 20 seconds.
Well, thank you, Alex.
But no, I, it's been an amazing journey. So when we started, I was the only employee of the company. And today we are a team of 300 plus people. Uh, the first year I did 15 tax returns in the whole season. And now we do over 30,000. So that's been the journey. And, along the way, we've had the pleasure and the good luck of working with amazing people, amazing clients. There are some clients that I have that were students when they started in 2003, and now today they are directors and VPs in different companies, and they still come to us. Thank you, will release that. Right. So, and then these are people that I'm friends with. I go to their houses for kids' birthday parties. So that's the thing, and along the way, we on the serious side of the business, we were awarded one of the fastest growing Inc. 5,000 companies a few years ago. We had an ISO 9001 certified company, and one of the top. So the last time I checked, we were 74th in the top e-filing companies in the US.
That's amazing. Wow.
So it's been a amazing ride. Definitely not over yet by any means. We're just getting started.
So, Sumit, Aotax has literally grown from being a one-person desk to now being one of the top 100 e-filers in the nation. That's huge. And you guys have over 1 million filings now as well. So, my question is, what do you think sets Aotax apart in such a complex and competitive landscape today?
I'll use 3 words: compliance, accuracy, and ownership. I think that's that's the mix.
Are the pillars there? But do go on. Please tell me more.
So in terms of accuracy, we make sure that every return that we do gets is as accurate and as detailed as possible. One of the things that we offer is, which I feel makes us a little different from others, is audit protection guarantee. So if we do your taxes, and if the IRS or the state sends you a notice, we look at that notice, and if the error was caused because of a mistake on our part, we will pay all the interest and penalties.
Wow.
But again, if the audit came because you forgot to give us a document, then of course that's a different situation. But we take
Accountability.
We take accountability, right? And we make sure that so because we have that, right? So our team is also trained to make sure that we don't make those mistakes. So that's where I meant accuracy and accountability, right? And same thing with compliance, right? So when we started, I was telling you about how a lot of our clients have properties in India. So they were working in India, now they've moved to the US. They owned a house, right? Now you rent that house in India and you have rental income coming in. You have cross-border taxes, right? So now you have to pay taxes in India, in the US. How do you manage that? How do you report that? There are certain treaties that we can take advantage of. So these are things that, generally, if you try to go file by yourself, you may not be aware of it, right? Because you are not a tax preparer.
Correct. There's so much information.
So I think that's knowing what helps, and that's what we are good at, right? Understanding the situation, understanding city taxes, understanding local county taxes, and also whatever benefits that are available that can be leveraged in each client's situation. What sets us apart from everybody else is we are there 365 days a year. A lot of these companies that we've seen over the last 20 years usually just open till about the tax season. And then after the tax season's over, which is April 15th usually, and by April 30th, they shut shop. So now if you want support or if you want to have any of the questions answered, they're not there. We have a team of over 100 people that are available throughout this year, almost 24/7. And also, one of the things is that um, our market, obviously, in current times with inflation and the cost of living going up, is very cost conscious. And that I feel I would, if I have to give one giveaway on this, right, is be careful because you don't want to be, as people say, right, it's better to pay once, but for service that matters versus having to face problems later on. So I think, our pricing is competitive, but it also reflects the value that we bring in and the support that we offer. So like I was saying to you earlier about our audit protection services, I think that's really what gives that confidence to our customers that they are going to the right service provider. Having been in this business for the last 20 years, I've seen so many companies that have come, stayed in business for a couple of years, and then vanished. And that, that really leaves a huge gap for a taxpayer, because if they need to get a tax return copy from, let's say, 5 years ago, they cannot because they don't know who to go to. And that's really what is, when you're making a decision of who to choose as a tax preparer, I think these are the factors that you have to consider. The time that they have been in business, the certifications that they have. We have in our team multiple CPAs, multiple enroll agents, and a lot of certified tax preparers. So that combined knowledge helps to make sure that we provide the best solution to our clients.
Like you mentioned, right? There are agencies that are going out of business, but NRIs are facing the fallback on that, right? What are some of the practices that you think the industry should not be having in place today?
The reason why these companies are going out of business is because they are fly-by-night operators. They offer you or they entice you with more refunds by using deductions that are probably not applicable to you. But then again, you get attracted because who doesn't like more money? So one of the things that came up last year or last couple of years is showing up, claiming rental expense, like rental property expense in India when you don't even have a rental property, because obviously who's going to go check? But then again, when you do get a notice and when you now try to reach that tax preparation company, you can't get them. So this is just one of the examples. But like I said, I think there are tons of them. I mean, people find unique and interesting ways to try and cheat the system. We just have to be careful and cognizant of that fact and make the decision of, am I going for, as they say, if something is too good to be true, it usually is. Just be careful, be smart. And IRS is, it's not like you're going to a shop and negotiating or bargaining and coming out with a good deal. IRS is IRS. IRS is government. IRS is the US government. Absolutely. And the last person that I would want to Try and play games with.
All right. And now with, technology booming sort of across every sector and with the coming in of AI, how do you think you guys are keeping up with those changing times as tax consultant?
Been investing a lot in technology over the last 5 years. In fact, the CRM that we use currently is completely inbuilt in-house. We don't use any outside software to make sure that we have proper data security and compliances that we have to look at from a tech standpoint. So we don't use any off-the-shelf software. Everything is custom designed. We are, as of right now, using about 50 automated bots for different processes across the company. And one of the challenges that I've given to my team is that before we start the season this year, is to be able to deliver a tax return to a client within 4 hours.
Wow.
Fully automated.
Good for us.
So wishful thinking, challenging, but that's like I said earlier, that the 20 years that were versus the 20 years that will be are two different chapters of our journey.
You mean business? So while we're talking about keeping up with the changing times, why did you think a podcast was the right move at this point in time for Aotax to get this information out there for us?
To keep up with the times. As you already know, right? I mean, I'm sure you've seen that, right? People's attention spans getting smaller. Most of the time that is spent is on mobiles. We've done ads. We've done paper ads back in the days. We started with that, but I think if this is the new medium, which is more audible versus reading. So
Consumables.
Right. In fact, for all these years, our first digital ad was put out in 2021. Before that, we never advertised.
So it was word of mouth.
It was all word.
Wow.
But again, now that the world is changing, we have to change.
So before we wrap up, what's one piece of advice that you would like to give to anyone listening to the pod?
Careful who you choose would probably be the most important one. Second, taxes are like your annual medical exam. So it's not something that you have to do every day, but it has to be done. And just like how you take care of your health, you should take care of your taxes.
Your financial health. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Sumit. And for everyone listening, this is just the beginning. Over the next few episodes, we're going to be breaking down some of the biggest tax challenges that NRIs face today and help you make sense of the US tax situation in a way that it benefits you truly. By the end of the series, we promise you, taxes are going to feel a lot less taxing. If you ever need help with your taxes, our contact information will be down in the description. Till then, tap the bell icon to follow us along the full podcast series. And let's make 2026 your best tax season yet with Aotax.